Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. I am your friend Rahul Saigaonker. Let's continue our discussion of NCERT Science series. You already know that we are about to complete NCERT Science Class 8. We were doing a chapter by chapter analysis of Class 8 NCERT Science. And in the last interaction, we discussed Chapter 17, Stars and Solar System. A very interesting chapter indeed. We discussed about the moon. We spoke about stars, constellations, different planets. We also discussed asteroids, comets, meteoroids, meteorites, and artificial satellites. A little lengthy discussion. Let's move on today and talk about chapter 18. Today would be the completion of class 8 science NCERT. Chapter 18 deals with pollution, air pollution and water pollution. A rather simple discussion. Right, let's begin our discussion without any delay. But before all that, there is a big news for all the UPSC civil services aspirants. I got many messages from people asking that I need English batch to prepare for UPSC civil services examination. So here is the date. You need to remember 19th June. We are starting a new prelims to interview batch, which would be complete English batch for UPSC civil services 2024. In this particular program, a comprehensive package is given to you. We will be training you for prelims 2024, mains 2024, and interview as well. You will get one-to-one mentorship. One mentor would be allocated to you who will be helping you with your academics and non-academic doubts. Complete syllabus coverage. We have, after each and every module, answer writing practice. After every module, MCQ practice. There is answer writing program. There is prelims test series. Everything is included in this particular program itself. And it has been designed in a comprehensive way and put at a very affordable price of 29,999. If you want heaviest of the discounts, do use my code Rahul Live to enroll for this before 19th June. I'll see you in the class. Do enroll. All right. You can do it on our app. You can download it on Android, on your phone, or you can also visit www.studyiq.com where you'll get all the details. When you check out, use the coupon code Rahul Live to get max discount. Right. Let's talk about today's agenda. As I told you, today's discussion is about pollution, water pollution and air pollution. First, we'll talk about air pollution, then water pollution. The first things first, what is the meaning of pollution? Pollution is basically addition of some sort of impurities in the original state. It can be pollution of your thoughts as well. But when we talk about environment, environmental pollution is addition of harmful chemicals, addition of harmful substances in the environment which do not degrade or which are harmful for environment and ecosystem itself. It can be air pollution, it can be water pollution. In our previous discussions, we spoke about noise pollution as well. We all know the constituents of air. Air has, say, air has some proportion of nitrogen. Air has about 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen. It has methane, ozone, carbon dioxide. Now, when you add some other chemicals into this composition, it becomes air pollution. That's the basic definition. So let's first understand why air pollution happens and what are the consequences of air pollution. All right. As I told you, air has this particular composition. And when you add some sort of unwanted harmful substances, then it becomes air pollution. And this can have effect on the entire ecosystem. You do know ecosystem consists of biotic factors and abiotic factors. Both are there. Meaning the unwanted substances, they can harm living organisms or they can also harm non-living organisms. They will basically disrupt the ecosystem equilibrium. That becomes pollution. And when some unwanted substances come in air, it becomes air pollution. Now the question is, sir, how do these pollutants or unwanted substances, they are called as pollutants, how do these pollutants enter into air? Are we only responsible? Are the animals responsible? Or is anybody else responsible? See, first of all, air pollution can be because of two causes. You need to remember this, that air pollution, it can be because of two basic causes. Of course, air pollution can be because of natural reasons as well. And what can be examples of natural reasons? One of the examples I can think of is, say, volcano. Now, when a volcano erupts, it releases a lot of ash, lot of particulate matter and different kinds of gases in the air, in the atmosphere. Those are, if those are harmful to the living and non-living organisms, they become air pollutants. So it can be because of natural reasons. But majorly these days we look at air pollution because of the anthropogenic reasons. Anthropogenic means because of humans, because of human activities. And what can be those activities? It can be our day-to-day life activities. When I travel, I take out my bike. When the bike is running, the petrol is burning, and the petrol is when the petrol is burning, there is some sort of exhaust which is released from the silencer. And what is that exhaust? It contains carbon monoxide, it contains other particulate matters, it contains other unwanted substances. So it can be natural as well as anthropogenic. But when we talk about anthropogenic reasons, it can be many. For instance, my industries, the steel industry or the electricity generation, all these, they release lot of harmful gases. It can be many harmful gases like carbon monoxide. It can be more and more carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, nitrogen oxide, and sulfur dioxide, all these gases. Apart from that, there is a lot of dust, especially because of the construction activities. From agriculture, a lot of methane is released, which acts as a greenhouse gas. From household energy, these days we do use a lot of clean energy. We all have LPG connections, etc. But at one point of time, if you continuously burn firewood or say the cow dung cake, a lot of gases are released in the air. Apart from that, your waste management and your transportation, as I told you, vehicle and transportation, they amount to one of the major reasons for air pollution. Now the next question, what is going to happen if there are pollutants in this particular air? What happens? See, if pollutants are there, one of the consequences can be creation of smog, right? Now this smog is basically combination of two words. One is smoke. Now this smoke it can come from any of the sources. It can come from industry, it can come from your transportation, from your vehicles, or from your any other sources, right? Smoke plus your fog. What is fog? Fog is basically water vapor. Now we know in winter, especially in winter, we get a lot of smoggy conditions. What happens? Temperature inversion takes place. That means air in winter, cooler temperatures and dry winds, they create some sort of a high pressure cool layer. And when this high pressure cool layer is created, whatever gas you release or whatever vehicular emission it comes, it is trapped. And once it is trapped, it gets mixed with the fog or water vapor. And what happens? This smoke, it has lot of carbon dioxide, it has lot of nitrogen based oxide, it has lot of sulfur based oxide, and when they react with water, they create acids. And many times wherever there are smoggy conditions, you do get the phenomena of acid rain. This acid which is formed, it gets into the clouds and it forms as precipitation as acid rain. Acid rain itself can be wet or dry precipitation, you know that. So what happens because of this? Because of this, we get a lot of adverse health consequences. We'll discuss about that. But even on the non-living things, it can affect. One of the case studies that is mentioned in the NCERT is the Taj Mahal case study. Now, because of intense pollution in and around Delhi, or I would say Agra region itself, it harbors many industries. Vehicular pollution is there, many industries are there, and because of these industries, a lot of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide gas is released. And because of the winter conditions, as I told you, because of temperature inversion, the high pressure conditions are created, and this smog, it cannot escape. So it has to eventually fall down. What will it fall down as? It will fall down as acid rain. And when this acid rain falls, say in Agra, what is there in Agra? We have Taj Mahal. What is going to happen? Taj Mahal, which has marble or which is made up of marble, it starts to erode, it starts to corrode. That's why acid rain, or this acid rain, it is called as marble cancer also, which leads to discoloration of marble. As you can see here, this was the original color. Slowly and steadily, because of acid rain, its color started fading, and eventually the apex court of India, that is Supreme Court of India, it had to intervene and it had to bring a lot of steps to ameliorate the conditions of pollution in and around Delhi and Agra region. The Supreme Court intervened. It said that industries should switch to cleaner fuels like compressed natural gas, LPG. Automobiles should switch from diesel, from petrol, towards the CNG and electric vehicles. So now the condition is a little better. But again, every winter you do see these problems in Delhi and areas around it. Every winter you will see the problem of Delhi becoming a gas chamber. Now, what is going to happen because of this? Because of this air pollution, we also are impacted. There are a lot of health impacts. I will face problem in respiration. So my respiratory tract, it gets problematic. There can be lung diseases, there can be asthma, there can be bronchitis, there can be pneumonia. Very quickly, skin starts aging. Insulin, diabetes resistance can develop, blood clots can develop. Premature birth and low birth weight is also one of the reasons because of air pollution. In fact, if you look at the World Health Organization statistics, you will realize that who is the biggest killer or what causes the largest fatalities? It is the air pollution itself. It is the biggest killer all over the world, not just in India, but everywhere. So it can cause brain stroke, it can cause heart disease, high blood pressure, so many problems air pollution can create. Apart from this, in the long run, air pollution, it leads to problem of climate change. Now, there is something mentioned here called as the greenhouse effect. Please remember, greenhouse effect per se is not bad. Remember, in fact, I would say for our own survival, greenhouse effect is extremely important. Now, what is this greenhouse effect? You go and sit in a car. You go sit in a car on a sunny day, sit in the car. Do not switch on the AC. Do not switch on your vehicle. Simply sit in the car, close all the windows. What is going to happen? What is going to happen? The car is going to get heated up immensely. You will see that the outside temperature would probably be 35 degrees, but inside it would be somewhere around 40 degrees. Why? It is because of greenhouse gases. Right? Why? The short radiation or the short wavelength radiation from the sunlight is going to come, and when it reflects, the long wavelength radiation, it does not go out because of the gases that we have, because of the gases like carbon dioxide. So some amount of carbon dioxide must be there. In fact, the entire life on earth is sustained because of this greenhouse effect. Imagine if there was no carbon dioxide, no methane, no greenhouse gases in the earth's atmosphere, then the earth atmosphere or its average temperature would have been somewhere around -20, -30 degrees Celsius, and life would not have been possible here. So an optimum amount of greenhouse gases are needed. Why? Because most of the radiation that we absorb, yes, the reflected amount, if everything goes out, then the temperature would go extremely low. That is why I need some amount of heat to be trapped by these gases. That is the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect, you get the name from the cultivation method also. Simply create a greenhouse or a polyhouse and ensure that the plants grow there. You'll get an idea from there also. Then you ask, sir, what is the problem then? I'm not understanding. You said greenhouse effect is actually good. It is needed for survival of human beings. It is needed for survival of life. Then what is the problem? I told you that the greenhouse effect with normal amount of carbon dioxide is good, right? Because solar radiation comes. Yes, there is some amount of greenhouse gases, some amount of methane, some amount of carbon dioxide. It is already there. What it does, it traps some heat and it maintains temperature, some average temperature on earth. A lot of the heat also escapes. But now, when more and more carbon dioxide is trapped here, what happens? There is intense heating, similar to what I gave you in the example. You're sitting in the car. Now imagine I am sitting in a car. Earth itself is car. I am sitting in earth. The sun or the sunlight is coming, radiation is coming, and that radiation is making this particular area extremely hot. Now what does happen because of that? You said, sir, what's wrong? It's fine. Earlier it was, say, 35 degrees. Now it is 38 degrees. So what is wrong? See, this thing. We will be transforming a thriving and a happy ecosystem into a dry ecosystem. That is the problem with global warming. Because of extreme greenhouse gases, because of extreme pollution, global warming happens. And because of global warming, climate change occurs. And because of climate change, we see so many problems. Problems in agriculture, problems in terms of your own adaptation, more floods, more droughts, more and more disasters. And how can we stop it? The answer is simple. Go for afforestation. Create more and more forests. Plant more trees. What does this tree do? This tree, it absorbs carbon dioxide. That means create some sort of a carbon sink. Reduce your usage. reduce your vehicular use public transport, reduce use of fossil fuels, stop burning petrol, diesel, shift to electric vehicles, focus on recycling, planting a tree, focus on switching off your switch, use less water. So all these things can help in improving the situation. So what we established is air pollution is because of pollutants. The pollutants can be from the natural sources also, mostly from the anthropogenic source, and they cause a lot of adverse consequences. The same applies for even water. Now we know water. Normal water has some sort of constituents, right? If I simply dig a small hole in the ground, I will get some sort of underground water. Now underground water itself has a lot of mineral salts which are dissolved in it, right? But once the quantity of impurities that are dissolved in water, they become harmful. The unwanted substances which are added to water, they become harmful to, say, humans or the abiotic factors also. That becomes your water pollution. And water pollution is mostly because of human intervention or because of anthropogenic reasons. So many reasons. In fact, when we talk about water pollution can be distinguished through non-point sources. That means not from a single particular point. Say, for example, many of the houses are simply releasing their sewage waste directly into the water body, directly into the river. The river is polluted. If there is municipal waste directly thrown into this, if there is agricultural cropland, then more and more fertilizers you use, that fertilizer is dissolved in water and it ultimately reaches the river. The river is polluted. There are some point sources also. For instance, there is an industry. The industry releases harmful effluents without treating them directly into the river. The river is polluted. You have a wastewater treatment plant, and from that, the waste or the harmful water is again added into the river. Creates a problem. Now you must be thinking, sir, you said if I take some amount of underground water, there will be some impurities in it. Then how did people in the ancient and the medieval age survive? Because for our survival, we need air, clean air. Air pollution has to be stopped for that. I need clean water also. For that, water pollution has to stop. That means during the ancient medieval time, earth itself has its restoration capacity. If some amount of impurities are there in the system itself, then the ecosystem, it can cater to it. But right now what is happening, because of intense needs, because of intense population increase, the amount of pollutants that are entering into the water, they are more. That means the earth's carrying capacity or earth's restoration capacity is going down. Or earth's restoration capacity, beyond earth's restoration capacity, I am adding more and more pollutants. I need to stop it. And there is a case study for this also. The holy river, the most important river of India, river Ganga, right? It starts or it traverses from Gangotri, it moves to New Delhi. There's a tributary Yamuna of this that passes through Delhi. It moves through Kanpur, Allahabad, Varanasi, then eventually drains into Bay of Bengal. Now, along this path of Ganga, Ganga river itself has been extremely polluted. Why? Because we know, first of all, water source, wherever there is water source, it leads to some sort of habitation. You can see many examples. Why do we see a city on the coast? Why do we see city on the banks of a river? Because water supply is extremely important for survival. But if I am not able to maintain or sustainably use that water source, it is going to create problems. Same thing has happened with river Ganga. According to WWF, World Wildlife Fund for Nature, they have clearly highlighted that Ganga is one of the 10 most endangered rivers in the world. At many places, the water is extremely polluted. It is not fit for anything. The towns and cities, they simply discharge a lot of water, wastewater in the river. At many places, it is suggested that the river is dead. The pollution has reached to such an extent that no aquatic animals or no aquatic life can even survive there. One of the examples is Kanpur. Now you can see city of Kanpur here in UP on the banks of river Ganga. UP itself is known for many industries. You do know UP has many industries. I remember UP, Kanpur leather is very much known, right? Kanpur leather is very well known. So Kanpur has so many factories. Kanpur has fertilizer factories, detergent factories, leather factories, paint industries, and most of these industries, without treating their effluents, they directly let it pass into river Ganga. And as I told you, the river or Mother Earth itself does not have that much of restorative capacity. The industries are adding so much of pollutants beyond the restorative capacity of the river. It is creating a lot of problems. They discharge a lot of toxic waste. For years they have done it. Finally the government has awakened, right? The government has started many programs. For instance, in 1985 itself, the Ganga action plan began. It was aimed at reducing the pollution of river Ganga. Even after almost 20-30 years, many other programs are running. In 2016, the National Mission for Cleaning Ganga, that is Namami Gange program, it began. Right now, the Ministry of Jal Shakti, there is a department specifically of Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. It is running a program called as Namami Gange program to improve the health of river Ganga. It comprises of sewage treatment infrastructure, developing sewage treatment infrastructure along the river, riverfront development, river surface cleaning, biodiversity protection, afforestation around the banks of the river. Ganga Gram Yojana is also being running here. Industrial effluent monitoring is happening. Public awareness camps are being created, are running right now to protect, preserve Ganga. Right? A program started in 1985, still running. We are still struggling for cleaning river Ganga. Imagine the amount of pollution that we have created in the river. Huge. Apart from that, NCERT talks about a concept of potable water. Now, in our previous interaction in class 7, we discussed about the sewage water treatment. I told you that the municipal wastewater, it reaches to one particular treatment plant where, first of all, the sediments are allowed to stay there. Then there is some sort of bioremediation by the microorganisms. Then we apply chlorination, etc. But there is a difference between that treated water and the water that we drink. Please remember, potable water means water which is suitable for drinking. Many a times, even after sewage treatment, the water may not be fit for drinking. So what do we do with that water? We use that water for reusing in industries or for agricultural purpose. But potable water is that water which is fit for drinking. And for that, what we do, whatever surface water we get or even treated water or underground water, we send them through potable water treatment units. These days, these water units you can see at your home also, right? We have RO, the reverse osmosis systems. What do? They give you potable water which is fit for drinking. That's why I told you. Was there any sort of RO or was there any sort of potable water treatment unit during the ancient or the medieval times? Absolutely not. In fact, the river water itself was so clean that itself was quite potable. But these days, you seldom see underground water as potable water. Why? Because so much of underground water pollution has also happened. Arsenic pollution, fluorine pollution, so many other unwanted chemical substances are found in the natural surface water and underground water sources. Right? So that's the concept of potable water. Apart from that, you do need to understand that hot water, please remember, hot water, that can also be a pollutant. Why? Because the aquatic life is quite sensitive to the temperature of the water in which they are living. And if hot water is released from plants and industries, then that can also affect the life of plants and animals, aquatic plants and aquatic animals. It can lead to loss of their life. Now the question is, how do we reduce or how do we ameliorate the situation created because of water pollution? See, simply find out the point sources and non-point sources and reduce the pollution there itself. Meaning, if there are some industries, strict laws, rules and regulations should be brought that polluted water or effluents, they should not be directly sent into the lakes and rivers. It has to be treated first. Its temperature has to be reduced. The chemical constituents which are harmful for water, they have to be reduced. Only after that can be discharged into the water bodies. Why? Because Mother Earth can restore. So what I need to do is the amount of pollutants that you send for restoration, That has to be minimized. And of course, we need to use the policy at the individual level. We need to follow reduce, reuse, and recycle. The best source of water would be rainwater. So go for rainwater harvesting systems that we have discussed in our previous interaction. Right? That's why I told you it is a rather easy discussion. It is a discussion which is based on common sense itself. If it was up to me, I would have avoided this discussion. But we need to complete it as per the chapters, and that is the discussion on pollution, air pollution and water pollution. All right. Right. That's the completion of class 8 NCERT. And if you've liked this video, you can always follow me on this particular ID at the rate Rahul Sai 222. And remember, if you want the complete set, just search for this. You have a playlist with the same name, and on that playlist, you will get all the videos of NCERT Science Series Class 6, Class 7, Class 8. In our next discussion, we will start off with Class 9 Science NCERT. Right? So I'll see you there also. Thank you for watching this video again. Jai Hind.